Hey everybody, Guy here from Chit Chat. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and support us here at Chit Chat. At Chit Chat, we get to have conversations with people in our community that are doing something really cool, really unique, really fun. Business owners and people that work at nonprofits and just interesting people that care about our community. And today I got to do that with Michelle Meier. Michelle runs Arbor Hair Studio with her husband Dustin over in Waite Park. They started their salon in 2017 and have been growing it ever since. And we got to have a really fun, really neat conversation today, kind of about business ownership and doing fun and creative things. And I mean, the conversation took some kind of unique and interesting turns, but it was really, really fun. And like I said, I just love talking to people who are doing something unique and creative, and they're trying to make an impact for good in our community. And today was that. And so I'm super excited for you to listen to this podcast. And again, I just want to say thanks everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. Michelle, thank you so much for coming and joining us on the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Great to have you with us. Michelle, would you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about Arbor Hair Studio. I'd love to meet you a little bit and have our listeners get to know you too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on here.
It's great to have you.
My name is Michelle Meier. I am the owner of Arbor Hair Studio. Dustin, I am married to Dustin Meier. And we have two girls, Addiston, age 12, and Taylor, age 9, and two dogs.
I have a 12 and just turned 10-year-old. So
really? Oh,
we're in the same little stage of life.
Girls?
James and Lucy, one of each.
Okay, one of each. Oh, yeah. Same stage.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
I love all stages, but the current stage, it's so fun.
The way I have felt the whole time, like even when they were babies, I was like, oh, this is the best. And then each, like as they eat, as they're developing, like I would never go backwards because I would lose this new fun thing that
yes,
like
totally.
As their personalities are developing.
Yes.
And like the conversations get so much deeper and so much richer that I think each day is more fun and better.
Agreed.
And of course I loved toddlers and babies and all that fun stuff, but man, it's so fun right now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And seeing their personalities and who they're becoming. Yeah.
Are your daughters really similar or are they really different?
Oh man. Okay. They're both strong-willed.
Okay.
Very strong-willed leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And very independent,
Mm-hmm.
but also they are so different.
Yeah.
Like Addiston is more, she likes crafts and making things, loves softball.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say like a little bit of introvert / extrovert. And then Taylor is like extrovert, like, let's go play. I want to find a friend to play with. And she loves sports and loves doing hair. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Well, that's kind of fun.
It is so fun. Yeah. Yep.
I was just commenting to a friend earlier today, actually, that it continues to baffle me that these two little humans in my home were raised by the same parents in the same home
yes.
with the same rules and for the most part the same stimuli.
Yeah.
And that they are as different as they are is like it's mind-boggling.
It completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could not agree more.
Arbor Hair Studio.
Yes.
Tell me about it. When did you guys start it?
Yes.
And you guys are in Waite Park, kind of by, like not far from like Menards, right?
Yes.
Kind of tucked over back there?
Correct.
Great.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about it. How do you guys start it? What do you guys care about? What are you passionate about?
Yes. Well, a little back history.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated Melrose High School in 2002. I went to Model College of Hair Design in St. Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
And was there for 9 months, graduated, 10 months it was, graduated, and then I actually enrolled at St. Cloud State University for my business degree.
That's kind of fun.
It is. It was. I'll be honest, like school, like when you have passion for it and you can select your classes and like learn on what you want to learn on. Awesome. The experiences of college life, super fun, met so many incredible people, but I am not like a book person and reading and yeah. So overall, great experience at St. Cloud State, but So that was a journey in itself.
So when you finished beauty school,
Yep.
you knew that you didn't want to only be a stylist, but that you also wanted to run your own business.
Yes.
How did you kind of get there? Like, oh, I don't want to just do this thing. I want to do this thing and all of this other stuff.
Yes. In my mind, ever since I was little, I always wanted to open my own salon.
Okay.
And so like starting from, little, like 7, 8, 9, like not necessarily like knowing I wanted to open my own salon, but I love doing hair. And then fast forward, both my parents were teachers, and I had this niche on like, I want to be a teacher also. Like I could do hair in the summer. Okay, let's be real. Like on how that logistically would all pan out probably was not ideal.
Sure.
But dreaming big. So I'm like, I'll go to St. Cloud State. And I started with, generals and then went to like elementary ed. And I'm like, yeah.
All of this is still after you were done with model college?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So I graduated, I think it was in June. It's so long ago, like 20 some years ago. And then in the fall, I started at St. Cloud State.
Okay.
And started with some of those classes. And then I got into like some of the elementary ed classes. And I'm like, yep, this is not for me at all. So then I switched gears and actually did the program for elective studies. 4-year degree, business, management was ideally kind of the goal. It was so perfect and ideal for me. So yeah, that's how that started. Graduated there and got a job at Cost Cutters in St. Joe.
While you're in college?
Yep. While I was in college.
So everyone else in college, they go get a job where they're, waiting tables or something.
Yes.
And you got to use your first degree.
Yes.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a blast. And they were super flexible with hours and it was really ideal.
That's sweet.
And then graduated at St. Cloud State, and I'm like, I want to be an instructor and do admissions at model college. So I got my first job after St. Cloud State. I instructed and I did admissions at the model college for about 1.5 years, and loved still, obviously doing hair. And I'm like, I saw towards the end of it where I'm like, I just want to do the hair for them. I'm like, this is not right. I need to, there's something like I wanted not do the hair for them, but I loved that teaching piece, but I also wanted to like be more behind the chair.
Yeah.
So at that time, Dusty and I were dating and had a conversation. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go independent. Why not?
Yeah.
Like at the time, we didn't have anything necessarily like holding us down or anything. So I went independent.
It's the benefit of starting young.
Yes.
Like
totally.
Your overhead's low, you're fine eating ramen,
Yes.
a lot of those are some sweet benefits if you have the inclination to start, before a mortgage rolls in and kids roll in.
The I call it beautiful chaos rolls in.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So started as an independent stylist.
Renting a chair somewhere?
Renting a chair. Yep. I was there for 5 years. And mind you, I had I didn't have any clients. So it was like starting from scratch and being creative and, trying to market myself, all of that. During that period of time, I did also like serve and bartend and waitress. Yeah. That was a huge benefit, just building a client base. While
you were at your other job, you're still meeting people, you're still engaging in conversation and working on growing the actual dream.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yep, totally. Man, do you ever have times where you're like, that was so long ago? It's like the timeline. I'm like, oh my gosh, what year was that in?
Yeah.
So I was at my first salon location, independent, 5 years. I scooted over to another salon. I was there for 4 years. During that process, actually, so when Addiston was born, which was 12 years ago, so easy math, what would that be? 2003. Is it 2003?
It's 2025.
2025 minus 12 is...
Oh, yeah, not 13.
13, yeah. 2013. Yeah. Well, because it would have been the year she was born. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm good at math. And so anyways, after I had her, I was still independent, and I got super sick. My health declined dramatically.
In relationship to your pregnancy, or just like...
It was...
In general?
In general. Yeah. It was like after birth. She was born in December, and I ended up getting super sick in March, and then I had some dental work done, and it just like literally spiraled out of control. I was in so much pain. I saw doctor after doctor. I mean, you name it, I went and tried to figure this out.
Yeah.
I look back and I journaled a lot during that time because I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, how come, being brought up, I believe in all medicine. But when you're in the thick of it and when you're in pain, but yet still trying to work and take care of a newborn and grow your business, like it was this wild ride.
Yeah.
It really was. And the moment during that process of that second location that I had rented, I remember just like still in the process of going through all these medical appointments. I mean, throughout, building my client base, I remember the feeling of like, okay, I know I want to open my own salon. Never is a perfect time, but it needs to be different. And
different than what you were currently experiencing.
Yeah.
Or what you had ever seen before? Like
different in terms of what I have ever seen anywhere else. I've always been that type of person. Like if everyone is going left, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I kind of want to go right.
Like a little bit of a contrarian?
Yeah, sure. Is that, I don't even know what that word means.
Yeah, like you live a little bit contrary to what everybody else is doing.
Yes,
a contrarian.
yes.
Yeah.
No, I love big words. And
If
I'm like,
everybody says you have got to go watch this movie or you have got to watch this show or read this book, I'm like, I'll check it out in a decade.
yes,
I'm
totally.
just like if everybody's raving about it, I just get like a little skeptical.
Totally.
Yeah,
like
a little
everyone's
skeptical.
wearing this. I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, I don't want to wear that. I don't know. I've always been that way. Not in a way of like being like, that's not cool. But like, I want to be different. Sure. Because there's, and maybe it's that creative side too, as being a stylist on the, with my profession too. I'm not sure. So I lost track of where I was talking, to be honest.
You were getting ready. You were sick. You were thinking,
Yes.
I need something to be different.
Yes. And this whole time, a pivotal moment in this journey, I was at the Waters Church and Pastor Peggy was talking. She was preaching and something overcame me. I'll kind of back up about maybe, I'm like not even kidding, like for years, I would randomly see the numbers 9/11 on the clock. Really weird. And also in my mind, as we grow up, it's associated with, like emergency, like radar, like hold on,
Yeah.
And so, and it would be it would like, I'm not kidding you, it'd be like a consistent thing. I'm like, this is wild. That day in church, I remember like this moment overcame me and I'm like, I need to look in the Bible at what 9/11 is. What am I being told? And I am a very strong Christian. I love God and I love our Lord Jesus. And I looked in the Bible that day in Proverbs 9:11. That's what stood out to me. And that is like my favorite Bible verse, which is, for through wisdom, your days will be many and years will be added to your life. And so I took that and I'm like, okay, because during that process, when you're in pain and you're not feeling well and you can't get things figured out, it is so debilitating and so depressing. And I definitely had some lows throughout that, so taking that moment, and I bring this up because when the process of like thinking of being different and all of it here, this whole process was like, I'm living on what I want my business to be. And what is that? So with that, I had one of the doctors, actually, he was in the cities and he had opened up a practice. The reason why he opened up his practice was for the fact that he was not feeling well and couldn't find answers. So he opened up his own practice and helping others. My mom and I went to this appointment and I remember sitting down and I'm like, okay, like, what's this all about? Totally different. It was more like not traditional, conventional medicine. And he's like, Michelle, how often do you work? I'm like, I work all the time. I love what I do. And he's like, you have got to switch to a cleaner, healthier hair care brand. And I'm like, in all honesty, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this even about? Like, this doesn't even make sense.
Sure.
And for about a month, I processed that. I mean, he taught me so many things in that appointment, just different things that we are all around us, the surroundings of products and ingredients and things that we're eating, putting on our skin. And, in the hair industry, we touch products all day long.
Right.
And
lots of aerosols, and you're probably breathing stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yes. So, and no one has ever taught me that. With love and respect, in school, they don't bring that stuff up. They maybe hopefully do now. There's many times that I've actually gone to the school and I just plant seeds, I call it.
Sure.
Just with different stylists, and like, just be aware of what you're using and use gloves and all of that. So anyways, I realized, like, one of the things is searching for a cleaner brand. And that's when I came across Kevin Murphy. It is a brand made in Australia. A lot of the brands that Arbor carries are brands that are, not all, but the vast majority are made in Europe. European guidelines are just a little bit more controlled, and just their regulations are different than United States. So with that, Arbor, I happened to find a space. Our first location was kind of over by the Cold Spring Bakery Connection.
Oh, yeah.
And it was me, myself, and I. I'm like, here we go. Like, this is it. And there was just this truly, like, the journey through God and processing, figuring out location. Okay, we're going to do this. And it was weird, like, on how your body, you just know, you're just like following direction and guidance.
Yeah.
And just discerning, like, okay, all right, here we go. Me, myself, and I in a space.
What year was that?
2017.
Cool.
What's really cool is the space that I ended up seeing. It was a cost cutters building, and it was the the previous owner, whom I adore. It was her old location.
The first one, or the one you guys are in now?
The first one.
Nice.
Yep. So I didn't have to do a crazy ton of remodeling.
Because it was already a salon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Water is all where it needs to be.
Exactly.
And, all of that stuff's expensive.
Oh, it's so expensive. Yes. So moved in there, hired my first employee.
Like a front desk kind of person, or like what?
Stylist.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. And Naomi, she is incredible. She is our salon manager currently.
And she was your first one, so she's still with you.
Yes.
That's really fun.
Yes. And then Ashley, she was my first renter. And so we grew into that space. And
at Arbor, do you guys have both chair rentals and employees?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And that was kind of going back to the initial wanting to be different. When I had processed this, I'm like, there were a lot of people that were like, why would you ever have employee and rental? I'm like,
rather than just picking one or the other?
Yes. I'm like, but why wouldn't you? I'm like, if there's a strong like leadership and a strong like foundation to the business, I truly feel, you can kind of make whatever can work, but it has to be a strong, like, it has to be a strong foundation in order for that business to, succeed also.
Like, each person has a drastically different kind of, maybe even motivation, but like structure that they work inside of.
Yes.
Right? The person that's renting, they're running their own business.
Yes.
They buy their own products and all that stuff.
Yes.
Whereas an employee, they show up, they're not paying you anything.
Yep.
And
Yeah. And also, like, my thing is, my main reason was to create a space for a team, whether it's independent and or employee, and for all the clients that enter in, that's sustainable. It's cleaner atmosphere, truly intentional on what we have on our shelf and products that we're using on our clients. I mean, I even go as far as like air filter systems, air doctors, and filtered water. Like, I love talking about natural stuff because there's a lot of, throughout this journey of my healing, physically, there's a lot of ailments that cause sickness and were, I think, pertaining to myself not feeling well.
What about the people that rent from you? Do they They're running their own business there. Do you have an expectation about what kinds of products they can and can't use inside the walls of your...
Yes.
Yeah.
Great question. Yes, 100%. And that can, I can say, there are people that inquire, previously, and they're like, I'm very candid on that. And like, hey, this is our expectation. Like our goal is to be as clean and green. Now we're also in a profession, that, in our industry, like there are sometimes you need to use a little bit of a ammonia color versus a non-ammonia. But the vast majority should be ammonia free, and just people enter the space and it's like, it just doesn't smell like a salon. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there are guidelines. I do require them to like inform me of the product line that they use and just kind of like look over that and see if that's the right fit. And what's really cool too, stylists that enter, they're like, I'm open, like, as soon as I plant a seed about just like what product line are you using and like being aware, I think that's like just spreads awareness within our industry on the product lines. And
the beautiful thing is like if they want to use a product line that you aren't okay with, there are lots of other places to go.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, like not every business has to serve and cater to every kind of person. And
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they're a good fit, great. And if not,
yes,
no problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I sincerely, no matter if they enter, I'm like, hey, I'm here to help. Like if this is not the right fit, that's okay. Like I want you to succeed no matter what salon it's at.
Yeah. Story is the driving force for us here at Switchboard. Story is also the reason that Chit Chat exists. We tell stories of the people around us through photos, videos, branding, and websites. Story helps us find meaning, and it draws a community together, and we would love to help tell your story. You can find us at www.switchboard.mn. We would love to meet you. We'd love to talk with you and learn more about the story that you are trying to tell and how our story-driven marketing tools can help you communicate better. Can't wait to talk to you soon. The doors of Arbor opened in 2017.
Yes.
How long were you guys in your first space? And then when did you move to, is the space that you're in now, was that your second one?
Yes.
Yeah. And when did you guys move there?
We moved there. Oh man. Okay. So we've been in the new expansion location for 3.5 years.
Okay.
So right when COVID hit.
Nice.
Yep. It was like the lease was ending and then it was this,
So your big build out and all of that stuff that you guys did, did that start inside of COVID or was it already underway when COVID kicked in?
Okay.
Kicked in. That's such a weird way to say it.
Yeah, no, totally.
Kicked in.
Yes. Okay. So with COVID, we were closed for 2.5 months and I don't know my body, like, I don't know if you ever go through this where you literally, you remember, but yet it's like so foggy because like 2.5 months of not doing what I love, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was so hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So time is like, it's so blurry. Okay. I feel like we're in 2025. So like, it was like.
So inside of it.
It was totally inside of it.
Yeah.
And we had put, as we were searching for locations, we actually put an offer on a different location and it went to phase 2 inspection and it did not succeed.
Bummer.
I know. So I'm like, okay, this isn't the right spot. Yeah. That's okay. Keep looking. It was right in the thick of COVID. My husband, we took a big leap of faith, and there's no way that we could have finished this all if we wouldn't have done this. But he quit his corporate job for 1.5 years and helped with the expansion.
Cool.
We went from, I think it was like 1,300 square feet to we're at 6,800 square feet.
That's a huge increase.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are moments I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is a lot more space, but you kind of don't realize it until you get walls up and then you're like, okay.
It goes quick.
It does.
Yeah.
It totally does.
How many chairs do you guys have in the new space?
So when you walk in to the right, there's 7 employee stylist chairs. To the left, there's 7 rental chairs. And then a unique thing that I wanted to create was there are 7 suites also. So kind of having that hybrid model. So, because there are stylists that trying to cater to not all, but all in a way, like, hey, if you want to be an employee, hey, if you want to be a renter, oh, hey, if you like to be a little bit more of a private suite space. However, we have it unique in terms of like, we have the rest is like a shared community within the salon. So like everyone uses the shampoo area, dryers. But then, if you have a suite, then you can go in your suite. You can keep your door open or close it, that kind of thing.
Sweet. We run a couple of co-working spaces and it feels similar. There's some people that really want kind of the community being out, and there's some people that want an office with a door that closes and they walk in quietly and close their door and head home at the end of the day. And having one space kind of have room for both kinds of people, both kinds of workers.
Yes.
Is kind of a nice thing.
Totally.
And do you guys offer other services? I mean, like, do you guys have massage and like any of that, or is it just hair?
So it is it's hair for in terms of the rental piece, but then the suite piece, we also have one massage person, Megan, and then Ashley does she does eyelash extensions, makeup, and spray tan.
Got it.
And then Alyssa does like microblading.
I know what microblading is. Yeah.
Yep. Small tattoos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Yes.
You have to pick a color, right?
I've never had it done.
It seems like things come and go out of style. Like when you think of like the lipstick that people were wearing in the 90s.
Yes.
It's like like those colors. It just seems like a bold choice to me.
Yes. Yeah.
To make she
is so talented.
A permanent decision like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, super talented.
Cool.
Yes.
If someone was just coming out of school, I guess it could be, a business course, but for someone that's coming out of beauty school, and they're trying to figure out if they should be an employee somewhere or if they should be their own boss and start their own thing, either by renting a chair somewhere or by doing this other thing where you take a massive risk and you try to create an environment where people come and rent from you. How would you help someone like think through how to figure out what's right for them inside of your industry?
Oh yeah, good question. I number one think truly sitting in stillness and like looking at what they want to do, not what everyone else is doing. Because I think, and that's where it's like one of the sayings we say like in our house, like, watch your own bobber. Just watch your own bobber. Like, you don't need to be, and even...
Are you a fishing family, or is this
we
just...
are.
Okay,
we are.
It would be like extra fun if you guys don't do any fishing.
Right.
But,
Like, hold on, what?
Yeah.
And even like, and we say it with love, but like even, our youngest, like, watch your own bobber, mom, or watch your own bobber, Addiston or Dusty or whatever, dad, or, whatever it might be. It's funny, but yet it's so true. It's like, do what you want to do and what you envision. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know. Like, we're in such a world of, and it's so
comparison.
Yeah. You took the word out of my mouth. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's like, comparison is the thief of all joy, period. Like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Be aware, like, oh, that's cool, unique, but don't do it just to please others other than God. I don't know. I'm a firm believer of like, just follow your path on why you are here on this planet. And if we all just found that, and hopefully everyone does find that passion. Man, it's incredible what your mind and what you can all do and accomplish with that.
So watch your own bobber.
Watch your own bobber.
That's right. It's good. You were bartending or serving, and that was a way that you grew your business. I was of course that is. When I look back, I was right after college. I was a barista at a coffee shop, which is where I fell in love with coffee there, and it's why we started a coffee shop and whatever. But and while there, you're getting to know people. I think it's one of my favorite things about coffee in general is just like the way that you get to know people because they show up every day for coffee. And so many people, I'm like this young 22 or 23-year-old barista, and hey, what are you doing? And kind of everybody wants to know, like, are you in school? Are you out of school? There's just a lot of that kind of conversation when you're young. And I was in this mode where I was loving photography, but I wasn't No one had ever paid me to be a photographer.
Yep.
You know, I hadn't really put two and two together. I'd come out of, in school, all of the art stuff that I did, like in relationship to photography, was like fine art photography. And so this is going to sound so silly, and maybe I've said it here before, but I was 23 years old, and the only career that I thought existed in photography was in fine art, which meant that there were basically just professors. Like, I don't know who, I just wasn't thinking about it much, but I don't know who I was thinking was shooting all of the photos on all of the covers of all of the magazines and on billboards, and whoever it was volunteering though. You know, like I didn't put two and two together that there was this like business side of photography. And so I'm just interested in fine art photography. It's the only thing I knew. So I'm talking about photography, and all of these people are, you know, coming into the coffee shop. They're getting to know me. I'm getting to know them. And they're asking me, what do you like to do? And I'm just talking about photography, but I'm kind of talking about like fine art photography. And there was this woman who had a studio next door, and I didn't know anything, but she was at the time, a really like a big time photographer in Minneapolis. And she's asking me about like, what do you like with photography? And like now where I'm sitting now, I know exactly what she's doing. She's trying to figure out like, is he helpable? You know?
Yeah.
And at one point, she asked me to bring my portfolio, and I was like, what's a portfolio? I know it's photos, but like, do I compile them in a book or whatever? I didn't know. Like, I wasn't an art student. I was a music student. And so like, I didn't have any of this prepared. And I sat down with my images, and they were all these things that I thought you were supposed to do, like these weird art photos, you know, like pictures of doors and alleys and a spoon laying on the ground, and like, you know, all this stuff that like angsty kids, you know, you think is photography. And she just like laid it out. She's like, here's the deal. This isn't really work. You know, like, you know, there's other kinds of things that you can take pictures as for business. And I was like, tell me everything. And so it was while I was a barista, dreaming about like, could I be a photographer someday? I think it needs to be in art. And these people, Sarah being one of them, just kind of showed me. And then she showed me that there was a different way to do it. And she started bringing me on shoots. I just hauled gear, but I got to learn a ton. And then I realized like, oh, there's actually something really fun here. And then it went from there to these customers at the coffee shop started to like hire me to do their little portrait shoots. And
so awesome.
And so like in a similar kind of way, I got to grow all of this photo stuff in part because I was slinging Java, getting to know people and talking to people. And so, you know, if you're young and you're thinking about trying to do something, just wherever you're at, like even if it's not the place that you maybe ultimately want to be, if you're still passionate about that thing, you know, find tasteful ways to like bring it up. And you'll be surprised, I think, of how many people you bump into every day who have something to give, like something to share in their perspective, even if they're not, you know, Sarah gave me like really tangible information that I could use in my career, but there were so many other people. They weren't photographers, but they were business owners, and they had grown and started things. And if you just kind of like make yourself available to people, there's a lot to learn. And so if you're not there yet, you know, if you haven't kind of arrived at whatever you want your career to be, just be aware that there are people that you bump into on any given day that could actually help you kind of get where you want to be.
And just like being present.
Yeah.
Be present in the moment. Yes, you might have this goal over here. And instead of still chase that goal. But I think you're constantly chasing that you're not even focusing on what's going on. And there are the rabbit trail. Is that even right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's, you know, steps that you should first get to in order to get to that goal.
Yeah.
And, you know, as humans, we just like, no, this is the goal. And it's like, no, there are things that should be done before you reach that. Like it's all intentional.
And even like just learning to work hard. And like you're working here for a season, give it everything you got, try to like, you know, glean from it the kinds of things that are available to you. I think
100%.
There's so much to be learned in all of these environments. I just thought of this. This is going to feel this is so crazy. While I was working at this coffee shop, talking about photography all the time because I loved it, and it just was happening. There was a fellow barista, and one day my phone is ringing, and she like ringing. I realized I had like 3 or 4 missed calls. I called her right back, and I was like, what's going on? And she said, do you know what missed connections are? And I was like, no. Like, I'm thinking like there's an emergency. And she's like, misconnections, like on Craigslist. I was like, no, I don't know what this is. Do you know what misconnections are?
No.
Okay. Misconnections, they started in newspapers. So imagine that you're sitting across the bus, like you just took the bus to the laundromat or whatever. And it's like you made eyes with somebody across, and it's like, oh, like you want to get up the courage to go and like have a conversation and ask them out for, a cup of coffee or dinner, something like that, right? But you don't have the courage to do it. And then later you put out an ad, basically, like you were wearing a blue sweater.
Oh my.
You were on this bus on this day in the blue sweater. We made eyes at each other, and I just didn't have the courage to tell you that I love you. And I think that we should spend the rest of our, whatever, it's a thing. And then you're just hoping that this person sees it, that they felt the same way that you did.
Oh my goodness. I am not.
So my phone is ringing. She's like, do you know misconnections? Do you know misconnections? And I was like, no. So she has to explain what I just did to you. She's explaining this concept of misconnections. And the way that the misconnections read, there's a subject line, like in an email, and then like the body of the article, right?
Yep.
The subject line in the misconnections is Guy at Corner Coffee. So my name is Guy. So we don't know yet. We don't know yet if I'm the misconnection, or if it's just like some dude at Corner Coffee. And then, so she's reading it to me, Guy at Corner Coffee. And then she clicks in and she reads me the body of this thing. And it's like, you're the barista. We were talking about photography and we had such a nice time together. And I'd really like to go on a date, or, like something like that.
Yeah.
If you see this, because again, there's no contact information in it. In this one, there was no contact information. It was kind of like, if you see this and you remember who I am, you should talk to me so we can go on a date. But A, I was not interested. And B, I didn't have any recollection because I was talking about photography all the time.
All the time.
So now for weeks, right? Like the way that they made it sound is like I was this person's a regular, and Guy at Corner Coffee, the barista who we talked about photography, and now I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified as I'm serving coffee. It's like, who was it?
Right, like it was them.
Do they come every day? Anyway, so I guess maybe that's a cautionary tale. Wherever you are, talk about the thing that you love, but you might end up in a misconnection.
Yeah,
Who knows?
right.
So anyway, misconnections.
That's awesome.
Go check out misconnections, or don't. But this friend who called me, she's obsessed with misconnections. And like she looks at them all the time because she thinks it's like sad and hilarious. And so like she's doing it because it's like voyeurism. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe that this thing is happening? And then it just so happens that her coworker was in a misconnection.
Okay,
so,
that is great.
yeah.
That
it's like
is
one of my
hilarious.
little, like if you're getting to know people, it's like two truths and a lie. My name's Guy. I live in Sartell. And
we play that
I was
all
a
the
misconnection.
time at home. Yes.
And so it's one of those little silly things.
Yes.
Anyway, folks, this was an interesting detour that we just took today. Thanks for going for a little ride. Anyway, Michelle, this is so fun. Thank you for coming. I think what you guys are doing is super, super fun. I've gotten to know, just like you and Dustin through chamber a little bit at little things. And Dustin and I sat by each other at some chamber event, and I didn't know anything about you guys. And when you drive by, you don't know anything. And I think the reason I can't remember what the event was is because he and I just whispered the whole time. And I just asked him tons of questions. And people that think creatively about how to approach their business, they take big risks and they do big, cool things. I'm obsessed with that. I think that's so much fun. And so it was so fun. This little meeting with him where just like I just got to ask him tons of questions, and how do you think about this, and how do you approach this, and the industry does it like this, but you guys are doing it like this, and tell me more about that. So I just through you now, and obviously through your husband too, just hearing what you guys are up to. I love it. If you're listening and you need a place to go where they care about beauty in a healthy way, you guys should go check out Arbor. But yeah, fun to talk with you. Really appreciate having you on. We close every podcast with something that we call an unpaid ad. This is do you have a person, a business, a person, an idea that you think deserves a little plug today?
Oh man, my idea. I know. Okay. This is one of my favorite foods is nachos.
Okay.
And
do you like a basic nacho?
Oh.
Do you like a loaded nacho?
Loaded.
Okay.
Okay, so like Twins games. Like when I'm sitting
eating
there
out
in
of a
the
little
sun,
helmet.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there, I look at my husband, I'm like, this is heaven. I am sitting here, and I'm also like, no one talk to me. Like, let me absorb every bite of this. It's so good. So, okay. And when you asked me that, I'm like, hold on. You know what would be really cool? Next, whoever wants to open up a thing, I would be your number one customer. Kind of like, let's say it's a Subway / Chipotle / build your own
fast casual
nacho joint.
You're walking down the line and you're like, I'll take a little bit of the pulled pork. I'll take a little bit of the cheese.
Like,
that's fun.
Yeah, 100%. I think we need that in St. Cloud. We need something unique and different.
You guys are hearing it here first. If you want a lifelong raving fan for a customer, start a nacho place.
Yes.
And let Michelle know.
Let me know. Good. I'm in.
For my unpaid ad for the day, in honor of favorite foods, I am going to plug a sandwich called a banh mi. Do you know what a banh mi is?
No.
A banh mi is a sandwich from Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. It's France had occupation of lots of Southeast Asia for a while, and they brought the baguette. Basically, in general, Asia doesn't really do bread. Like, rice kind of is in lots of cultures, like what the role that bread plays, rice plays. And with the exception of Vietnam, where Vietnam has, because of this occupation from France, they have baguettes. Like, bread is a staple in Vietnamese culture, along with rice. But so the banh mi sandwich is this like weird little mashup of worlds. That you have an actual French baguette full of all of this incredible, delicious Vietnamese flavor. So things like pickled veg and unctuous meat, and it's an incredible sandwich called a banh mi. I think it is spelled BAHNMI, banh mi.
Where do you get it around here?
There used to be multiple places. The grocery store, the Viet Tien grocery store used to have a little cafe.
Yeah.
They've since closed the cafe, so you can't get it there. My favorite place was called The V, over kind of by like TJ Maxx area, and that has sadly gone out. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure right now, but in the metro, sadly, you can get tons of really great banh mi's. But you should go give it a shot.
Yeah, I totally will.
Really tasty. If you
love food.
if you like Asian food, and specifically if you like Southeast Asian food, just imagine all of that deliciousness inside of a French baguette.
Yum.
That's what a banh mi is.
Yum.
Go give it a shot. All right. Well, Michelle, thanks for coming on.
Thank
really appreciate
you.
it so much.
Thank you. This was a blast. Thank you.
Awesome.